Ta-da, ta-da. Boom, we're live. Excellent. Well, welcome to this online hangout where we're talking about webinars. And Kasha has some great experiences with that and has offered to share what she's done and how that's worked. And apparently she has had great success with that. So that's awesome. We've tried it ourselves. I think we've done 3 in 5 years. So we've done a little bit. But what I thought we should do is Kasha can share her experiences first, and then we can just sort of have a discussion from there and talk about whatever we want and ask her any questions on how she did it. Does that sound like a plan?
Yeah, perfect.
Awesome. Okay. Then I'm going to hand it over to you, Kasha, and you can take it away.
Yes, thank you. So this is really great that I can share this with you. I have some deck, so I would like to share my screen right now. Hope you can see it. And then obviously I want to keep it interactive. So, anytime you want, please ask the question. Are you seeing my screen right now, guys?
Yes, we are. Yes.
Okay, very good, very good. So I'm going to my few slides I prepare for you. This is today about how to do webinars, and I wanted to share basically how from that, because that was how I started, how from that you can actually get to very successful business, I believe, because let me share a little bit about myself so you can understand where I started. That's about me. I'm actually the first Chief Happiness in Poland. Poland, as you know, is in Eastern Europe, and happiness at work, it's been not very known topic here. When I started, people were thinking, what I'm doing really? Many of my friends were saying it will not be successful. There's no way people will pay for that. So, but I was so inspired by what Alex and Uhu are doing. So I really wanted to try. And my whole background is in HR. So I must say, I'm quite well known on the market where I'm living in Krakow as an HR professional, but obviously in the whole Poland, which is 36 million people, nobody knows me. So basically, I started, let's say, from the zero, and today I must say I have really no time for anything because I have so many interests in what I'm doing. So I think it's really developed great over the last year. But let me tell you how it started. When I starting to thinking how to basically how to let people, how to convince people to pay me for the happiness at work, I've been thinking about some different models, and at the end I figure out that the best model to start will be actually to sharing some of the content for free. So as you can see, this is like a triangle but upside down, and I started with really doing things for free to get the interest, because I thought that there are many companies which might not be interested, or they might not want that type of thing. So I want to rather gather interest around myself and around that topic, and then start from that. So first was this free content, then I started to charging something, and I will tell you in a few minutes how it works. And then at the end, obviously, big charges, let's say the really good deals with the big companies. So from that, really, over the period of not even 12 months, because I done my first webinar last year in September, actually. So over that month, I trained 250 people, actually even more. Paid, I'm talking about paid trainings, and I have many already workshops and kind of even extended projects with big corporations here in Poland. So it's going very well, but it all started from the free content. So that's why I wanted to share this with you, because I think it's really working, and I think it's worth to try to repeat it. So if I'm thinking about free content, what I actually done, I started to running my Instagram, Facebook, and I done webinars, and I focus today on the webinars. I also done later on some meetups, so the meetings for free. For people who are interested in that topics. So I must tell you, I'm not a tech girl. I was actually, working in HR. My husband is IT. So I was really not familiar with all of those things like Instagram, Facebook, webinars. It was like, if you tell me 1 year ago I will be doing it, I will not believe you. But I basically decided I need to learn that. and I started to learning it by just doing it. And I must tell you, it's not difficult actually. It's even somebody like me who is really not that fluent in technology was able to get very well with that. So today, for instance, on Instagram, I have 7,000 followers. And it just happened, over a few months. I have a lot of gaining interest on Facebook as well, and webinars. Currently, is 100 people on each webinar. So I think it's not too bad, overall. Like for a country when a few months ago nobody knows what happiness at work is. So that's kind of free content. And obviously, after I gathered that interest, I started to do some paid training, repeatable in the different big cities, which wasn't extremely expensive. So I said, Martin, as we were talking before, I think it would be closer to $100, maybe $120. So like still, I mean, per person, yeah. So I charge per person that amount. So it's not that extremely expensive, let's say. And some people get there for the curiosity. Some people get it because company paid for it. But that was some kind of another way to gaining more interest and deeper, teaching these people, showing these people that actually there is much more they can get from that. So what happened that my first clients went, for example, for Instagram or webinars, and they get interested in the topic. Then they decided to pay and meet me face to face on a training. And then from that training, actually, there are the workshops and trainings for the big clients, because usually those people who attend my training are either training and development people from big corporations or HR or leaders. So people who actually deciding if that's maybe worth to be extended in the company. So that's basically how I all started, in Poland. So before I tell you more about webinars, I just wanted to check with you, if it makes sense for you. Maybe you have some questions around that. I'll be happy to answer.
I have a question, Kasia, about the webinars. You always do free webinars, right?
I am doing it less right now. I done it more at the beginning. I'm doing it less purely because I don't have time, because I'm really busy. But I still think it's a nice way to getting a new interest, new people, things like that. So I do it right now maybe every 2 months, something like that. 1 hour webinar for people, really. But before I done more, I was even doing it like once every 2 weeks at the beginning.
Great, thank you very much.
Anything else, guys? Any other questions? Does it make sense for you? Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. When you speak about meetups, you do something like perhaps a meeting with a breakfast and make some kind of keynote of presentation about happiness at work. How do you do that?
Yeah, so the meetup is kind of a new thing I'm doing, and I'm doing it purely for a conference, like kind of a gather interest for the conference. And what I'm doing is that I'm and it also works well because as you look here, can you see my mouse?
Yes.
Oh. Because the meetups came later. So I started Instagram, Facebook webinars. Then I done this paid trainings when I met a lot of people all over the Poland. So I really get the feeling who can be good on meetups to be my, my let's say colleague who can share as well. So because that was a great way for me to finding a good, let's say, future happiness officers, managers in Poland. So then right now I'm on the position when I'm doing meetup, let's say in Krakow or in Warsaw, besides me, I have other people who can talk about it. So I think this is a whole benefit of meetup, that is not just me. There is me and other people. Usually I have myself, two or three speakers, from other companies, and obviously Alex at the end, because Alex helped me already with 2 meetups in Krakow and in Gdańsk, and we're doing another one in Warsaw. So I have Alex, like, at the end, like kind of a keynote speaker, like to share, global view. But really,
I remember that you were online, right, Alex?
Yeah, it's online.
Yeah. Right.
So
Thank
I would say for meetups, it is probably worth to start with webinars first and get to know the people, because I would not be able to do meetups, a year ago, because it will be only me, and I think this is working well, that people have me and have other people in Poland who already can share some of the experience, who can talk about how beneficial it was for them, blah, blah, blah. So it's really like, real stories, yeah, and the Alex at the end.
Right. Thank you very much.
Okay. Anything else from Maya, Tessa, or anybody who have any more questions?
Kasia, about the content for webinars, what do you use? The general things about happiness at work, or do you do specific themes?
Yeah, I will share that with you.
Okay.
I can just show you. Yeah, I will be now focusing on how actually, what does it mean to do webinars. So I have that answer.
Kasia, can I ask you only if, like, because they told us that it takes like kind of a program, then you can do a webinar, and it seems that it's live, but instead it's pre-recorded, and you can put it online, and every 2 weeks do always the same webinar. Are you doing like that, or every time you're changing the topic, and doing a new webinar?
Yeah, I done what I'm doing. I'm recording it, obviously, but I see that people do not. People prefer to do it, in real time. They want to interact with me. So as I'm recording, I don't see a lot of interest. What I done, I just repeat the same topic. I mean, the topic which was considered the best, I repeated 3 times, for example. So I done like the same but live with me again. Yeah, and I said that it will be repeated, so the only people who never done it, they register for that. Yeah. Okay, let me show you then what was the basically. And this is just to show you my Instagram. Obviously it's old because it was 4,000 people at that time, but now it's 7,000. And so I running like, a lot, but I'm running like my website, Kasia Kern, my Chief Happiness Officer, like a blog, my Facebook website, and Instagram. It's a lot, really, but what I'm finding very useful actually for me is to actually do the post on Instagram. Like it's kind of not that long, because it's mainly picture and some text, and then I'm sharing it on Facebook. So straight away from Instagram, I can share it on Facebook. So it's in those 2 places, and then from time to time I'm picking up the best topic and I'm kind of leveraging it to the blog. So the most, I think, for me at least, it's worked the best if I run Instagram, like trying to have 2 posts a week. I'm trying, but whenever I'm doing, I see a lot of new interest, a lot of new questions. It's kind of helping me definitely to be in touch with my followers. So yeah, yeah. I thought there was a question. Okay. So let me now talk to you about webinars actually. So what I done, how to do it, and sharing my experience. So basically, that was my first webinar ever. That was 27th of August. Sorry, it's in Polish, but obviously I will just tell you. This is 10 ways to improve, to make your workplace happier. And I thought that actually this type of topics, like when you give people like 5 tips, 10 ways, it really works. So even that most of the people in Poland, first time ever seen that, like, 10 ways to make your workplace happier, they started to be interested. Yeah. So this is just wanted to share, because I think importance here is that it need to looks nice. It need to looks kind of interesting, like a picture and photo, but also this type of title need to be bringing the attention. So really working if you do something like 5 tips, 10 tips, 3 ways, this type of things, in my opinion, are working. So that was just the first one. And I done several different topics. I done like obviously this 10 ways of improving your workplace, I repeated a few times because that was very successful. I done like, happiness at work from global perspective. So I share some of the, stories about our partnership, and, I pick up some stories about how is in India, how is in Japan, how is somewhere. I done effective remote work, happy and effective remote working. That was very cool too. So like kind of use the same, but put it in the remote world. I done more like, you know, positive psychology at work, slightly on that. I done also about facilitation, a great way to improve your places to be more happier. So different perspective. And what I'm doing on this webinar is three things actually. I'm obviously introducing myself. I'm saying and kind of introducing to the topic, so what the happiness at work is and what is not, and so very kind of general, but just to get understanding. And I'm sharing some examples and some tips, you know. So sometimes I would say, like, for example, I will focus at one webinar about the positive emotion, yeah, and on another I will say more about some experience, you know, some science, give them some science experiments on that, just telling them how it works. Sometimes I'm sharing some, you know, more HR practice, so how can you apply to the office. But what I'm doing, I'm just giving them some information and leaving them with the feeling that there is a much more. I'm always telling them, oh, you know, we don't have much time today, so I only share with you 3 tips, but obviously I have much more, and always kind of referring to this way that there is more, there is more, there is more. And at the end, I'm always sharing about what I'm doing. So I'm sharing, okay, so here, if you want to find out more, there are my classes, you know, blah, 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 you know, follow me on Instagram, follow me blah, blah, everywhere. And basically, the goal is to get people to be interested in that topic, get familiar with me. So I want them to like me and to follow me. And actually, I think they always feel like good energy on that webinar. So it's like part of the success. So they want to follow me. And then third is to give them a feeling that there's much more they can learn, and that will be worth to think about it. So that's basically how I'm approaching that topic. So before I will tell you more about technical part of the how to do it from the technical point of view and tools, please let me know if there's anything you want to know about, you know, about this, let's say, content on the topics which I done.
Which topics was the most popular, do you think?
This one, the first one, I think. This 10 ways of improving happiness at your workplace. That was very successful. I had a lot of I think many of my first training, the people who get to my training was after that. However, I think, you know, the other were also good because people were basically more targeted. So the, you know, effective remote working was more, I had more people who actually were remotely working. Yeah. If I done more of the facilitation, the people who were actually liking that method wanted to hear more about it. So this was more general, and that's why I think maybe I have the biggest interest, because everybody could attend it, and that was more like, you know, maybe specific.
I have a question, Kesia. Please go back one slide. I think that you did the webinar at 8 p.m. Is that correct?
It is right, and that will be something what I prepare for you as a tips and tricks, because that was I was trying different things. What time, you know, but really at the end of the day, the best timing for the webinars was 8 p.m. for Poland. I done another one which is working quite well as well, is a midday, 12 o'clock. But then I have, you know, on this 8 p.m. I have like everybody, people from business, people not from business, like, you know, really there is a good time for me to do it, because the people who are after work, who, you know, put kids sleep, may attend it. But another one, when I done on 12, so noon, basically 12 a.m., then there was a lot of people from the business who just, you know, had their lunch and wanted to attend it. So it is also important to find out the right slot for you in terms of your country.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so let me now tell you, so how to do webinars. So basically, there are 4 components, in my opinion, and I will focus on each of them. So graphic and content, Facebook advert, tools to register people, and to basically do the webinar. So the graphic and content, I must tell you, when I started doing my Instagram, I wasn't, you know, I didn't have a lot of photos of myself. I didn't care about that much. I thought it just, you know, I'm not I wanted to promote the topic, not myself, but it appeared to me, and it was a big surprise. Whenever I post anything with my face or anything with myself, the interest was growing really for some reasons, yeah. And then I was reading about it, and actually it happened that it is important that you also need to build your own presence and our own brand. Besides the topic, this is also important. People want to see you, people want to get to know you, people want to kind of feel like you are close to them. So fortunately, my husband also is a photographer. Besides that, he's an IT, he's also doing photos. So he was started, I told him, okay, now you need to, anytime you can just do the photos. And he done great. He just really documented a lot of my trainings, my, even like, meetings, whatever. He done a lot. So I will share you some of the photos, which then I start, anytime I was doing any event, I have a photos. Right now, maybe I don't need because I have a lot, but this is important. So if you start doing webinar, besides of the content, besides of some graphics, it's worth to put your face. It's worth to put you looking good, surrounded by people who are happy. It really helps me. So it's really something which you should, if you're thinking about that, start to gather it all the time, because that's another, it's emotional connection, I think. And people, when they see that, they kind of, I want them to feel guilty that they are not there, so it's really like they see it and they say, all right, next time maybe I'll join, or I want to be there. And it's helping really. It helps me a lot with my programs, yeah. So the graphic and content, obviously Facebook adverts. So I invested at the beginning for this, and I think it is worth it. It doesn't have to cost a lot, but then the Facebook, it's easy to do. Really, you just follow the steps there, and it's actually really promoting it to the right target. So I targeted the big cities in Poland. I targeted the HR people, leaders, people who are interested in happiness, coaching, learning and development, technology, all of that. And it really targeted me, these people. So I would recommend you to get familiar with that. And obviously you need to find some tools which will help you to do webinar. I will share with you my tools. I'm sure you must find something similar in your country, but the tool need to basically help you to register people. So the people need to first register, they want to join, and then you need to have a platform when you can do the webinar really. Which will be basically able to, record it and interact with people and everything. So I'll show you my tools as well. I just wanted you to get that for 4 steps. So that was the content, and here is the Facebook. This is how it looks in Polish on my website. So to do the advert, it's very easy. Really, there are 3 steps to do it. You need to create the event. So like put some picture, put the date here, get the link to the website when people need to register, add some photos, and basically if everything is all together, you need to promote it. So you're going here to promote, and then setting up some targeted amount, and then Facebook will do that job for you. So it's really easy. I don't know if you are familiar with Facebook advert or not.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, so that's easy. So then you do this, and then this is my tool. It's called Click Meeting. It's a Polish tool, but it's also in English, I think. But I'm sure you can find other tools. So the Facebook basically directing all of the people to that platform. They just adding the email here and getting in. So I can see on the platform how many people register. I have their all contacts. I can see them. I can talk to them. I can send them emails. I can remind them, and that's actually very important because people are registering. If the event is for free, people will register, but will they attend? Not always. So another thing you need to do is to kind of remind them, send some information, things like that. And this is how it looks like inside. So basically, like we're doing right now, it's like you uploading the presentation here on that piece, and you just basically changing the slides. While you can be on the right, you can see myself here. I just done this picture for you, but that's actually that's live. So then is where I am. Normally I would be live here, and I can obviously talk to people. And here I can write to them. There is a chat. So what I'm doing with them, I'm doing some slides, and then, basically they can't talk to me, because if it's 100 people, it's impossible to talk. But I'm saying, okay, guys, so now, let me know if you have any questions, and they're writing me questions here. So I can say, okay, so Anya asked us, about, whatever, and this is my answer. So I'm trying to get, interactive, and that's basically how it works. 1 hour max here, sharing some of the content, interact with them, and at the end, I'm always, sending the evaluation after this. Here's another piece of that platform when you can actually see the statistics. So that you can see that 97 people attended. I don't know exactly what is it, but it's actually showing you, all of the statistics, how many people attended, and then you can see the feedback as well here. So it's very useful, really. It's very easy to plan, easy to use. So, I'm sure you must have something like that there in your country. I'm paying some fee for that tool, but very small. So it's, basically I'm using it quite often. So it's very helpful for me. I don't know. Do you have any questions about the tools, guys, or how to do it?
No, I think that you mentioned it before, but you can record the presentation, right?
Yes, you can record it, and what I'm doing when I finish, it's automatically sending the people the recording and also the evaluation form, which I can prepare. So it's like doing it all for you, and then you can also have that link. And so if somebody couldn't attend, you can share it as well, or you can post it on your website. Yeah, it's recording as well.
And if you want to put it online for more people, do you have any possibility to force them to register to watch the video?
Yeah, you can do that, because this platform is very flexible. So you can also do that.
Right.
So that's basically how it works, and I think it's not difficult. And there's one more tool which I want to share just for other things as well. I mean, it's also Polish. It's called Evenea.pl, but it's another tool more for selling the tickets and things like that. I'm using it for meetups, for example, and I'm using it also for my trainings.
Yes, it's like that.
Yeah.
I think it's like Eventbrite that we.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's like you can see all of the names. They can do all of the invoicing. It's very helpful too. Yeah. So kind of, this is not. I'm using those two platforms, but this is mainly for selling tickets, and previous one is for actually doing the webinar, like going through the webinar with people. So that's two platforms I'm using, and some kind of and just kind of at the end some tips and tricks basically on that topic. So first of all, you can absolutely do it. It's really not difficult, and it's really great if you want to increase awareness, and if you want to, kind of promote your brand. It helps me really. I think it was shocking for me when I done it first time, because I think I was sending some email, Alex, on that to you, that I just basically put it and I went for vacation. I put the advert, it will be in 3 weeks, and I went on vacation. And when I'm sitting on the beach, I have this registration. People were crazy. They were texting me like, Kasia, I can't attend. Will you repeat it? Please, please, please. And I was like, wow, I mean, I didn't know it would be so loud. So it actually gave me confidence that, okay, so there is more interest than I was expecting. And from that, I started to, really checking, checking many other things, and really I get it was the moment when I actually realized it might be, it might work, like really. And then the same model I use as well for trainings, like I promote trainings on Facebook, I get interest as well. So it was really good moment for me, and that's why I'm so I think it's worth to share it, because if somebody's starting, then it can really help. So second thing, this is this timing, which Martin, you asked me, that works for me the best. This as well works for me in terms of Instagram, if I post at that time. So kind of for Poland, these are a good timing. It might be different in your countries. interaction with the people. I also been attending some other webinars, and I was trying to find out what works. Really, it makes a lot of value if there is interaction. So, you know, like not just talking to them, but asking questions, giving some time for feedback, for, you know, for it is, especially for young people, I think it's very important. So I would encourage you to try to do that as much as you can as well. And obviously, last but not least, it's also in awareness of this investment. I invested in those first webinars to promote them, sell them, you know, buy the platform and everything. But if I look right now at that cost, it was really worth it. It was just something which is worth to do, and then you can have you can have this money back very easily after some time. So. That's basically it, guys. Oh, sorry, one more thing. Ask for feedback. Yeah, that is very good thing as well, to actually improve from one webinar to another. Yeah, so at the beginning, I more done it like, you know, let's try it, see how it works. And people give me really good feedback. I think that when you do things for free and you ask people for feedback, they quite, you know, they really wanted to share. So that helps me a lot to develop my next webinars and changing them towards my audience, towards my target. So that will be also from me.
Kasia, sorry, when you ask for feedback, you ask too for another subject that people could be interested in?
As well, but I'm also asking them how much they, you know, what can be better, what they were missing, what else they would like to see, what I could do better, you know, all of those type of questions which you normally ask after training. Yeah, I just ask them.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so obviously I'll be happy to answer any of the questions, but basically that was just kind of my experience with webinars. And, you know, if you want anytime just to ask me anything, that's my email address, and that's my jump, because I was trying to repeat what Alex is doing, and he has this jumping photo, so I have mine as well. So, you know, please let me know if you have any questions or any things I can help you with in that topic.
That was awesome, Kasia. I think it's great what you've done. Can I just add one tip, because I've done a few of these. One thing you need to think about when you're doing the webinar is also light, and especially sound. I think one of the best things you can do is you know, have a good microphone. Don't just use the one in your laptop. It's just not going to sound good. It's going to give way too much echo in the room. So either a headset, or pro tip, get yourself something like this. If you're sitting there thinking, Alex's voice sounds amazing today, it's not my voice. It's actually this microphone is really, really cool. And there are a lot of these out there. This is the Blue Yeti. This one is about €100, I think. You can also get ones at half price. But actually the you know, the video quality is important, but the sound is even more important. Yeah, what do you do? What do you do for a microphone and Kasia?
I just use laptop basically, but yeah, you know, as you just told, you know, basically I will buy it right now, you know.
Yeah, sounds pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Any thoughts, questions, comments?
Well, Kasia definitely got me inspired a little bit, because Petra and me, we are basically using the same model as you are, this reverse triangle thing, but just didn't do any webinars yet, because we have a small audience. But I don't think this should be an excuse for us. So I really think we should try, and I think it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, it really helps. And you can also gather people from other cities. I think this is also another thing which I mean, I don't know how many, I have like 6-7 big cities in Poland. So while I'm in Krakow, I just get the interest everywhere. So I can then, you know, I can see, for example, that in Gdańsk, there is like, you know, people which are really attending my webinars. So maybe it's worth to go with training, and then I can go. So it's like giving me the probing of where to go and what to do.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that it's a great idea to take cover in large countries. For instance, in Argentina, I usually make meetups with the breakfast to and do something that Alex talked to me a lot of years ago. That is, when you do a free keynote, do the same keynote that you charge for, and really it works really well. I have to say personally that my meeting in San Diego was really frustrating, and not for you, Alex, because I realized that in Argentina we have to reset and restart everything again after 4 years of working. But well, breakfast works very well. It's like the meetup. I have a small space in my office to can meet with 16, 20 people. So I do free keynotes with the breakfast, and people really come and get interested in it. But I'm always working with people from Buenos Aires, so it's very interesting to go to another site with the webinars.
Yeah, and if there is anything you might want to do, like international, I mean, any webinar on how it works globally, I will be happy to be your speaker, or kind of share it. I think people kind of always interested to hear that there is also working in other countries, or there are some other people. So if you ever want, then I could come for 10 minutes on your webinar and just say something in Polish or whatever.
And let me ask me something. Yeah, I want to ask you something, Kasia, about webinars. I suppose that they are in Polish. And how does people get when you have some speaker in Spanish? In English.
Yeah, I done one. I mean, obviously with Alex, when we do meetup, then we will say that the part with Alex will be in English. And most of these people knows English, but if somebody doesn't, then they don't have to stay, or they just may stay and not understand everything. So it's fine. You just need to tell them.
Because here I meet that the language is a big barrier to some kind of things, and that was the way I was asking you to tell me about the experience. Right. Yeah. Thank you.
No problem. Good. All right. Anything else, or any other? Maybe somebody has some other ideas how to do it or how to help.
I really enjoyed your explanation, Kasia. We in Belgium we have done some webinars as well, and we are absolutely seeing the impact, like exactly what you said, that it helps to create awareness. So you get an audience interested, and you can already show your work. And make people comfortable with what you do, and already give them a little bit pieces of value, which makes them more curious about your business. And I really like the reverse triangle you said, and we even use it in the middle part. So you have free webinars for gaining that awareness, but we also use it as a commercial approach, where for a small amount, we work together with partners, and this is an alternative as offering a training or a workshop. So we charge a small fee for people to enter the webinar, where of course there's a lot more content and value present. So there's also a commercial approach behind it.
Very, very interesting. Nice to hear it's working. Good. So Alex, in Copenhagen, you said you done few as well, webinars?
Yeah, we have. We did one on happiness at work in general. We did one on leading with happiness, and we did one on how to be happy at work when you're very busy. And of course, we did ours in English, so we targeted basically everyone in the world. And we didn't do any Facebook advertising. We just put it out on our newsletter and social media and that kind of thing. We still got somewhere between 200 and 250 signups for each of them. I was using Google Hangouts, so I have no way of knowing how many people actually attended, because that's not as advanced as the one you showed us. But then again, the videos are now on our YouTube channel. So that you have that content for later. But I will definitely, I think if we do any more webinars, which I kind of feel inspired to do now, I will definitely.
You don't have to. You are the superstar right now, so
But they can still be fun to do, right? But I think we definitely need like a dedicated solution. I don't think Google Hangouts is good enough for that. It would be nice to have a dedicated platform for it.
That was my question. You did the webinars with the Hangout, right?
Yes.
And do you have the same options like Kasia to have people registered and all of the stuff?
Well, you would no, you'd have to handle registration separately in a different like Eventbrite or something else, right? And then you can use Google Hangouts for the presentation itself, and you can do most of the things that Kasia showed. You know, you can chat with people, you can show slides. You cannot show slides and show your face at the same time, so that's not possible.
No.
But on the other hand, it can run as a live event on your YouTube page. So if you have a big YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is that once the presentation or the webinar is done, the video is automatically available on your YouTube page. So that's pretty cool. I would not. The next time we do one, we will use a dedicated system for it. Of course, the advantage is that Hangouts is free, so that's nice.
Well, I get a proposal from Zoom. Really, I didn't read it yet, but I think that they have a platform for webinars too.
Zoom looks pretty cool too. Tessa, you had a...
Yeah, just to add, the platforms that have paid options also usually have a startup free setting where, depending on the number of people you can invite, there's a limit there and some practicalities, but it's awesome to test them out, which ones are working best for you.
Exactly.
Right.
And then I've watched just one thought. For me at least, there's a little bit of a difference between talking to an audience and talking to a camera, right? How do you, Kasia, how do you approach that? Do you think about it at all, or?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of, always looking on this my platform. Then you can see the names of the people, and I'm always asking some questions like, oh guys, where are you from? I can see this interaction, so it's giving me the feeling I'm not just talking to the screen, because they keep talking to me. I'm just getting this. I get to know them, so I'm asking them. Are you? What is the weather? Or are you? How did you find out? All of those questions, when it's giving me some kind of feeling. Okay, I know these people slightly.
Oh, that's cool. So you get them in the chat early in the webinar.
I can see them, and also when I'm talking, I'm saying, okay, so let me know if you have any questions, and there's somebody asking, so I'm saying, okay, so Anna just said, and I'm I'm getting to imagining them, kind of thinking, okay, I have a few people from North, few people, so it's helping me to kind of see them, even if I don't. So
that's very cool.
Right.
Any other questions, thoughts, ideas, suggestions? What's been the most fun part about this?
For me?
Yeah.
No, all of it. I mean, especially I think that they give me confidence that from the moment I started that business to where am I right now, it's a long way, but everywhere I had this feeling, maybe I'm not good enough, or maybe it will not gonna work, or maybe, and it's really, when I saw such an interest, I start to imagine, okay, so if the 10% of these people will actually pay me, then it's already, worth it. Yeah, so it's kind of it helped me to see it giving people value, and they are interested. So it even helped me to get more into that. So that was the biggest fun for me.
Fantastic. Excellent. Any final thoughts, questions, ideas? Nope. Well, in that case, Kasia, thank you for sharing what you've done. I think it's amazing what you've done, and I think it's fantastic that you got such great results with it. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It was great to be able to share with you. Thank you, guys.
All righty, and thank you for joining the Hangout. And I will see some of you in Copenhagen next week, and that's I'm really excited about that, for our big conference. And yeah, not you, Martin. You can stay in the Southern Hemisphere. We'll do a conference in Argentina one day, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
You can take it for sure.
That is awesome. Okay, everybody. Take care. Have an awesome rest of your day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Have an awesome conference.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.